Jimmy, Jimmy on the wing. Every time you're on the ball, we know it's gonna be a goal. Your real name is Crescencio. La da da da, la da 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 dum, la da 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 dum, la da 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 dum, la da da da. Welcome to Claret and Booze. I hope you enjoy the show. Come on, you irons.
Hello there, good morning and welcome to Claret and Booze. My name's Virgil, how you doing? Also known as John. Currently ranked up here on City Road near the McDonald's. Got my cup of coffee, no sausage and egg McMuffin today. Let me know if you can see me, guys. This is the first time I've ever done one of these live from the cab. So let me know if you can hear me all well and good in the comments. So where we're at, obviously it's deadline day today and there are some incomings and outgoings already. Now, as we know, James Ward-Prowse has been a name banded around over the last few days, linked with Southampton, linked with Forest, and it would seem just in the last half an hour or so that the deal has been struck between James Ward-Prowse and Nottingham Forest. He's going to move to Nottingham Forest on a season-long loan. I'm not aware of any obligation to buy or any sort of any figures involved at the end of the loan, but he's definitely going there on loan for the season. So a season-long loan. I'm sure they would have discussed a fee at the end of it. I heard on TalkSport earlier that there might even be survival bonuses involved with any players that go out on loan to players that have just come up out of the Championship into the Premier League. So it's a good deal for Forest. As we know, Forest, they like to spend heavily and have done in their time in the Premier League. But I think James Ward-Prowse is a good addition to what they already have around them. I, for one, think that James Ward-Prowse started very well in his time at West Ham last season. I thought he came into the team and he hit the ground running very much so. Me and Nick have had many debates over the last year about James Ward-Prowse and his abilities. Yes, obviously, I'm not suggesting for any minute that he's any better than the midfielders that we've brought in, but I, for one, personally, would have much preferred keeping James Ward-Prowse over Souček. And my reasons for that are that I think that James Ward-Prowse is a far more technically gifted midfielder. Okay, he's not on a par with what we're bringing in or what we've brought in. I'm not saying that for 1 minute, but he knows the Premier League in and out, and I'd love to have had him on the bench, personally speaking. Obviously, the Lopetegui has used him this season already, obviously, most recently in the cup game against Bournemouth. But I think that as we're bringing players in, you need to get players out. And it would seem that we are bringing in as loan with option to buy is this guy from Paris Saint-Germain, Spanish international Soler. Now, we have spoken about him in the past. He's a very technically gifted midfielder, has played across the whole midfield, had a good schooling at Valencia in Spain. He has made about 15 appearances for the Spanish national team, only broke into the Spanish national team a couple of years ago, and he's got 3 or 4 goals. He's a good player. He's been at Paris Saint-Germain for 2 seasons. He's got about 50 appearances, which, is good. And people will say, well, if he's that good, why is he leaving PSG? But we could say the same about Areola. We know how PSG like to swallow up players and take players in. Doesn't necessarily mean they're bad players when they want to sell them. It just means they move on very quickly. He's surplus to requirements at PSG because they've brought in about 3 or 4 midfielders. So, it doesn't mean he's a bad player. So the loan is for the season with an option to buy at the end of the season. So there's no obligation, which I prefer, personally speaking, because I think, we hope that he comes in and performs and plays out of his skin. But there's always a chance that they fall flat on their face. And we've seen it with certain players, namely Maxwell Cornet. Now, Maxwell Cornet, it looks as if he's going to be on his way to Southampton. I'll be interested to see how that works. I would imagine that will be a loan deal, which gets him off our books as well. So it's good for the club. I'm sure we'll subsidise some of the wages, possibly. Who knows? We don't know the finer details yet. But the Maxwell Cornet deal to me was always a bit of a strange one. I wasn't excited when we got him. I don't think he was fantastic at Burnley. Yes, he scored a few goals, but he had quite a few injuries. Since he's been at the club, you know, he's had a lot of injuries. He disappeared to go and see a specialist, unbeknown to David Moyes, allegedly. I think that some of the players we brought in really were underused by Moyes, were used in the wrong way, or were just totally ignored. Okay. Cornet, I can't make a judgment on him. I wasn't excited. You have to be honest and say that his West Ham career was an absolute dire straits, let's be honest. But at the end of the day, it's going to be the best for all parties that he moves on now. We don't need Deadwood hanging about. So it's interesting. James Ward-Prowse obviously has gone. Cornet looks to sort of pretty much be done at some point during the day. And then we've got Danny Ings. Now, Danny Ings is another one for me. We've spoke about it many times in the past. Danny Ings, for me, is not a shit player. Danny Ings has become a shit player at West Ham. And I don't like to say it. We bought a striker from Aston Villa because Aston Villa wanted to play a striker up front on his own. Danny Ings couldn't play that role. Villa sold him to West Ham United. West Ham United, guess what? We played the lone striker role. Danny Ings wasn't suited to it. So I think Danny Ings has to go, you know, but he doesn't have to take a pay cut. If no one's willing to meet his wages or West Ham don't pay him off, then he's more entitled to sit on the bench, whether we as fans agree or not. You know, if we was doing it in our everyday walk of life jobs, you know, would we take a pay cut? I don't know. So yeah, James Ward-Prowse has been done. Soler is pretty much done, as in Romano has said, where I got the picture from, as you see. Cornet should be done at some point today. Best for all parties. And Danny Ings still remains the one. Now, obviously, I'm going to put up some comments from the chat in a minute, but I, for one, do think we need another striker. So I'll be interested to see if we get anyone in. I don't think we will, if I'm honest. And secondly, it would seem that Cresswell's injury that he got in the warm-up before the Bournemouth game the other day is far worse than expected. And I hope for God that Wan-Bissaka isn't used at left-back continuously. Now, I know he did a very good job against Bournemouth. I was there. He was fantastic. But if he plays on the left, he's going to be cutting in onto his right foot all the time. For me, going forward, it has to be Emerson on the left, Wan-Bissaka on the right. Wan-Bissaka was absolutely brilliant on Wednesday night. But if he plays left back, then the left winger ain't going to get the ball because he'll always be coming inside. And that's why Somerville suffered. I've seen people say that Somerville wasn't great. I've seen people say that Somerville doesn't look like a Premier League player and things like that. We can't say that. It will take him time. But he was hardly getting any of the ball from the bloke behind him, namely Wan-Bissaka. And I'm not blaming Wan-Bissaka for that. Purely it's because Wan-Bissaka's strong on his right and he was cutting inside and he was going infield on his right foot. Now, at the end of the day, that is not going to be good for anybody in front of him, i.e. Somerville. All right? So let's get players put in their right positions, for God's sake. For God's sake. Wan-Bissaka, yep, I agree with your bow and arrow. Wan-Bissaka, we did absolutely pull their pants down. I can't believe Man United let him go for peanuts. I mean, he looks a player already. I know it's early doors, but he looks a player already. And I was over the moon when we bought him. I really, really, really was. So James Ward-Prowse gone. Cornet very soon, it seems, and Soler will be confirmed at some point today. We hope. He's on the plane already, I guess. It's a shame, really. You think about James Ward-Prowse, you think about Danny Ings. These are well-respected Premier League players who probably came to West Ham at the wrong time for them. They haven't become shit players overnight. They've become shit players because of circumstances. The worrying thing, if you like, to some extent, is the fact that Soucek is staying. And I'm not worried, but people are suggesting, it's because the team's going to be built around him. I'm not so sure. I think Soucek will become a squad player. He will become a bench player, which, if he is more than happy with, so am I. You know, There's no doubt in that guy's commitment. The only doubt is his technical ability. And that's no disrespect. Right, let's go through some of the comments. Sorry I've missed so many, but I'm doing this off my phone. I'm having a cup of coffee. Yes, no sausage and egg McMuffin. How dare you? 1 second. Right, let's have a look at some of the comments from you Muppets in the chats. 154 watching. Don't forget, press the like button. It helps me, keeps Nick off my back. So do us a favour. Surreal Frame. These comments are above me head. I don't know why. I don't really care. Zuma going to Saudi. Think he's paid off. Sorry, passed his medical. Yes, Zuma, it's got to be done soon. And it would also seem, that reminds me, Nathan Guer, or Nathan, as we know him, it looks like he will be going to Saudi anytime soon as well. Obsidian Curse. Why didn't Everton get Moyes in? He would have brought our old crap. Cornet innings going. Yes, it looks like they'll be going at some point today. Particularly Cornet. Ings is a little bit of a stumbling block because he's on 125 grand a week. And the guy isn't going to want to take a pay cut, is he? But, you know, would you? Soufal should only be backup if we don't sell him. I agree. I don't want to sell Soufal. I want to keep Soufal. Definitely backup right back. Fantastic. Bring him in for cup games and whatever. But yes, he is a professional. You know, he's on 35k a week, which is a lot of money to you and I, but not a lot of money in the football world. But I for one, again, would keep him. West Ham Factory, best signing of the window. Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Paul Riley says, neither can I, John. Aaron Wan-Bissaka is genuinely world-class. What an absolute steal. Yes, get back in the England squad. Especially Carl Walker's been left out. You know, get him back. Bow and Arrow says, get a young striker and I'll be buzzing. Won't happen, though. Yeah, I'm not so sure. I agree with you there, mate. I can't see us. I can't see us getting that striker in. You know, what's this? Dad's ad job purse card podcast. Virgil, it would be great to get you on the show later. What show, mate? I must have missed your message. I do apologise, but you can send it again. Where are we now? Surprised the Gerd doesn't want to go Saudi. I think he might be, mightn't he? I know there's I think there's also interest from Real Betis in Spain, or it might be Real Sociedad. I'm not 100% sure exactly. Don B says, if Loppy continues with AWB on the left, then I'm afraid my respect for him will go. I agree. I said the other night, a lot of the problems we had were the decision to play Wan-Bissaka left back. Obviously, he wasn't going to start left back. He was going to start right back. But when Cresswell got injured, it was a no-brainer to put Emerson in and keep Wan-Bissaka on the right. Now, Wan-Bissaka had a great game. But him playing on the left really affected Somerville and really affected our attacking play. It was very, very lopsided. B-Mac, Soucek is a championship level at best. Cannot understand why anyone plays him 90 minutes. Let's not go there. I'm sick of talking about it, if I'm honest with you. Ryan, how you doing, mate? From down under. I love Virgil. Yeah, I love me too, mate. Bow and Arrow, Soufal and Soucek backups not starting anymore. I agree. Where are we? Mavropanos looks shit, mate. Another centre-back passes slow as fuck. You know what? Interestingly, right, I thought it started really well in the 2 games thus far this season. But when he come on in the cup game, what I noticed was about 5 or 6 times in a row, Bournemouth kept playing the same sort of ball over his head. And he was slow. But as a centre-back, you can be slow, but you've got to read the game. And he was doing neither. And it was the same ball over the top, time and time again. Anyone got Zaha's number? I've changed my mind. I'm guessing you're talking about Wilfried Zaha, who surplus the requirements at Galatasaray, I believe. I think he's on his way to Lille on a season-long loan. Where are we anymore? We must get a striker in that can run. Yeah. And that's our podcast. Everyone give up a look. I don't know what you're talking about, mate. Give me a message, for God's sake. Best of luck to Kurt Zuma. Meow, meow, meow. Now, sod off. Come on now, Bow and Arrow. Be nice. Right. That's me done. I'm going to get on my day at work. Thanks for watching. Hope it was clear as mustard, or mud, as they say. Any more updates, I'll come live. Now I know it works well. I'll see you soon. Adios, amigos. Good luck. Like the show. Don't forget, take care, people. Thank you. Bye.